My name is Jacob Larson, and we are discussing Enneagram Type 8, and this is the 5th time I've tried to do this video. So this is the last time I'm doing this video. I'm just letting you know in advance, so if it's broken and not totally in order, I don't even care anymore. So I'm just throwing it out there. Enneagram Type 8 is by far the hardest out of all the Enneagram types. They're different animals. They are animals. They spend their days with grunts and farts. I mean, that's the Enneagram Type 8. They are the Neanderthals, unpolished, uncivilized of the bunch. They don't have any worry or care about how they're being perceived. If you don't like an 8 doesn't care. It's not how they think. It's not how they operate. They're not out to impress anybody, and it really doesn't matter to them. You can be their friend or not their friend. It's irrelevant. They're very suspicious of outsiders anyway. They just flat out are. They work on a circle. They have a certain circle group of friends and family that they care about. They devote their lives to. They'll fight for. They'll defend to the end. But if you're not within that circle, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to them. And it takes a bit to get in that circle because, like I said, they're somewhat suspicious. They're like that coy dog that'll stand on the outside and kind of sniff around and make sure that, you are who you say you are, or they won't let you in. It's as simple as that. And once you're in that circle, like I said, I mean, you're pretty much golden. I mean, if there's something coming down the pipe, an 8 will stand in front of it, take the brunt of the hit to defend you. That's how 8s operate. And it's irrelevant to them about, like I said, the odds and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, 8s prefer to have odds stacked against them. I mean, that's an encouragement to an 8. They don't have any problem fighting. They don't have any problem getting up front. I mean, matter of fact, if there is a hint of a thought of weakness or of fear at all, I mean, they deem it as weakness, and that's just going to make them push through. I mean, that's just how 8s work. They're not afraid of conflict. They don't avoid it. You ever been in a place and you've heard something going down, yelling and stuff like that, and most normal people move away from that because they're like, what's going on? That's not how an 8 works. I mean, 8s work off instinct. So the moment they hear something like that going on, they kind of gravitate towards it, and they're like, want to see what's up. And if they determine that there is a innocent being taken advantage of or hurt or whatever, they'll get involved. I mean, they don't even have to know the people. I mean, if they simply see that taking place, they'll get involved. So 8s are a little bit different in that regard. And in some cases, that's a positive thing. Most of the time, though, I mean, 8s are kind of not perceived as good, It's not uncommon for an 8 for people to say, when I first met them, I didn't like them at all. But once I got to know them, they seem to be pretty good people. I mean, that's pretty standard for an 8. I mean, they get that a lot. So, and for most part, it doesn't bother them. The 8s count on their core group of people to understand and know them. And so the rest of the world can say negative things about an 8, but if that core group of people that they have vetted and that is in their circle knows them and believes them to be good, an 8 will be okay with that. An 8 will be fine with that. An 8's not going to question who they are as long as that core group of people knows them for the people that they are. So so 8s are kind of different in that regard. Like I said, they're not out to get the trophy or award that says they're the greatest people on the planet. For an 8, they want to be genuine. It's important for them to be perceived as genuine. They don't like being fake. If you ask an 8 honestly, tell me the truth, they're going to tell you the truth, as brutal as it can be at times. Because to do anything less for an 8 is being weak, is being a coward, and they're going to shy away from that. They're not going to do that. So I mean, you just don't ask an 8 to tell you the truth if you don't want to hear it. I mean, if you don't want to really hear it, don't do it. So, but 8's I don't know how to even say this. 8's have a strong sense of justice. Okay? They kind of live in a world of an eye for an eye. So if an 8 feels like they've suffered an offense, you've done something to an 8, the initial gut reaction for an 8 is to respond. I mean, and they're going to respond in equal or greater amount than whatever the offense was. It's kind of a strange thing, but it's like, it's not uncommon for an 8 to say they had it coming. They had it coming. So prime example of that was in the movie Braveheart. Okay. William Wallace rides out on the battlefield. They've got the, whatever you call it, the nobles trying to make an agreement. And here's William Wallace, and he's running around on his horse. One of them says, what are you trying to do? They're trying to do peace talks here. What are you trying to do? And he says, well, I'm here to pick a fight. So that's an 8. I mean, that's what an 8's going to do. I mean, his purpose, his goal in that specific situation was to get a war started. So he's going to totally ignore proper protocol. He's going to be uncivilized. And he's simply going to go towards his goal. Now later on in the movie, some of those same nobles had agreed to meet Wallace on that battlefield and support him in battle. And they didn't. They didn't show up. And so his response was to get on a horse, ride into their homes, and bash their heads in with an iron ball. That's an 8. In his mind, his response warranted, was justified based on their offense. And so when it comes to, that's, like I said, that's just a thought, that's the mentality of an 8. And it's a hard thing for an 8 to grasp, but sometimes your response is not justified regardless of the offense. I mean, regardless of what in your mind was the offense, your over-the-top response was not justified. And you have to consider and think of mercy. And mercy is a weird thing. It's a weird concept for an 8 to grasp, because once again, you're living in a world of eye for an eye, and it makes logical sense to you. You don't want this to happen, then don't do this. Action and consequence. That makes sense. to an 8. Action and consequence. But mercy throws a wrench into things, because for mercy, to have mercy, to employ mercy, you have to acknowledge that there was an offense. You have to acknowledge that you have the right and are justified to respond. And then you have to not respond. And that's interesting. That's interesting. That's a hard concept for an 8 to grasp. You have to have mercy. Employ mercy. Especially when it comes to friends and family. When it comes to friends and family, you have to remember that regardless of what they say or do, regardless of the offense that they have perpetrated towards you, nothing they can do or say warrants or justifies the response, the over-the-top response of an 8. Nothing they do or say warrants to justify the over-the-top response of an 8. Just doesn't. And you have to employ mercy. Now, I don't know if I haven't figured out whether or not that applies to people outside friends and family. I don't think it does, but I'm unsure. But I know that when it comes to friends and family, they need to be afforded mercy. That much I know to be true. They need to be afforded mercy. And another thing, if you're 8, I'd tell you to think about is be nice. Be nice. It seems really simple. And in most cases, you're going to go through life thinking you are, because you're in your head. You're in your head. You're not purposely going out spending your day trying to upset people or piss people off. You're stuck in your head. You're thinking about whatever it is, whatever task you're trying to accomplish or get done, even if it's something as simple as standing in line to get a mocha. You're focused on getting your mocha. You're not thinking about the line or the other people around them. You're not intentionally trying to upset anybody. And if somebody later said, hey, you were being rude, you'd probably look at them and go, what are you talking about? I stood in line, I got my mocha. What am I supposed to do here? Give everybody roses? But you have to get out of your head. That's the thing. You have to get out of your head when you're around other people and actually stop and think about how you're being perceived. Wash your facial expressions. It's not being fake. I'm saying this, and some of you 8s out there are thinking, I'm not going to be fake. I'm not going to fake it. I'm not telling you to fake it. I'm simply saying you got to get out of your head. Stop being so result driven that you're not thinking about the people around you, and simply be nice. And it takes a little bit to grasp that concept, but if you just say it to yourself over and over again, be nice, be nice, be nice, keep it in the forefront of your mind, eventually it'll be easier. It'll come natural. You don't have to think about it. And some of the other Enneagram types are probably listening to this and thinking, okay, that's just weird, something's wrong. No, there's nothing wrong. It's just how 8s think. Once again, we're results driven. We're thinking about the task at hand, what we have to do. And for us, If there's something we're trying to achieve or accomplish or get done, we will eliminate every single roadblock. We will disregard every single thing that gets in our way to accomplish that. That's what makes us really good at getting things done. And it's not an intentional, they're not out intentionally trying to upset or hurt anybody. So be nice. Just remember to be nice. It'll help. It'll help you navigate yourself amongst the other Enneagram types that wet themselves every time you look wrong. So anyway, that's Enneagram type 8. Employ mercy. Do justly, love mercy, walk humbly. Enneagram 8. Scriptures at the bottom of the weblog. Go ahead and check them out. It's going to take some practice. It's going to take some work. Don't be afraid of it. The people in your circle will love you anyway, and you'll be better for it. That is the Enneagram type 8. Thanks for watching.